Commercials, billboards, free samples. Everywhere you look, antidepressants are being marketed. One of the biggest targets, children. Here is a disturbing fact. 7 out of the last 12 students responsible for school shootings were either on antidepressants or were in withdrawal from them. Are these medications helping or hurting our kids?
2 years ago, 16-year-old Corey Badsgard took a rifle to his high school and held 23 classmates hostage. Describe around that time how you were feeling.
In the morning, I didn't feel like going to school. I felt sick. Didn't feel like really, like I could get up very well. And so I went back to bed. And next thing I remember, I'm in juvie, in the detention center where I used to live.
Just one more apparently unexplainable violent outburst at school. Unexplainable to everyone but Corey's dad. So in your mind, there's no doubt what happened here?
I had no doubt that the medication did this. I mean, he had amnesia, hallucinations earlier, abnormal dreams, which are all side effects of the medication.
That morning, Corey was on a mix of antidepressants, prescribed for what doctors called situational depression. His father says the pills turned Corey from a sensitive teenage boy to a volatile marauder, susceptible to blind rage.
He was never a violent kid. I mean, he's always been a good kid, loved us, hugged us all. He's never watched violent videos, and until with medication, he started, after that, then we realized that he was having aggression problems and, was out of character.
At Fox News, we found the Badsgard story with antidepressants compelling, so we investigated further. We found a disturbing number of recent school shooters were either on medication or were experiencing withdrawal. The list includes 15-year-old Kip Kinkle withdrawing from Prozac when he shot 22 classmates, killing 2 after murdering his mother and stepfather at his home in Springfield, Oregon. 14-year-old Elizabeth Bush on Prozac when she blasted away at fellow students in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, wounding 1. 18-year-old Jason Hoffman on Effexor and Celexa when he opened fire at his California high school, wounding 5. 15-year-old Sean Cooper on a mix of antidepressants when he shot students in Idaho. 15-year-old TJ Solomon also on a mix of antidepressants when he aimed his shotgun at classmates in Conyers, Georgia, wounding 6. And 17-year-old Eric Harris on Luvox when he and partner Dylan Klebold killed 12 classmates and a teacher in the bloodiest school massacre yet, Columbine.
One of the things that in the past we have known about depression is that it very, very rarely leads to violence. It's only been since the advent of these new SSRI drugs that we have murderers, sometimes even mass murderers, taking antidepressant drugs.
This man sees another explanation for the students' violence.
They may not be getting adequate diagnostic evaluation. They may not be in intense enough treatment. They may not be on the right dose for the right length of time.
Dr. Eric Hollander is a consultant for various drug companies, including the maker of Paxil.
There's no evidence that being on an antidepressant medicine would increase the likelihood of homicide or suicide.
As the number of drugs increased, so too have the number of school shootings.
Bruce Wiseman runs a group that has monitored long-term effects of antidepressants on kids for years.
The drugs have got documented side effects of mania, of psychosis in some cases, of violence, of suicidal tendencies, and you have studies documenting the fact that these kids were not violent, took the drugs, and became so.
Indeed, Fox News recently obtained confidential documents belonging to the maker of Paxil, the drug Corey Badsgard had been taking when he snapped. The documents suggest a patient taking Paxil is 8 times more likely to attempt or commit suicide than patients taking placebo. And data publicly available from the drug companies show a small percentage of patients on all antidepressants experience mania, a state of mind sometimes associated with violent outbursts.
When you take the figures of one drug manufacturer talked about maniacal behavior of 4%. Well, if there are, as some reports say, 2 million kids on these drugs, that's 80,000 time bombs waiting to explode.
Waiting to explode. That's exactly what Corey Badsgard's father said happened to Corey on antidepressants. He says the solution is simple. Stop drugging our children.
Just stop medicating the kids and I don't think we'll have these problems, or as many as we do now.
And Corey agrees. He's out of jail and off the drugs. And he says he's doing just fine.
Sisters age 7 and 8, their horse-drawn funeral procession wagons will pass right by us here in front of this church, John.
Rick Leventhal in Lancaster. Rick, thank you very much. Tragedies like this one in Pennsylvania and in Colorado last week seem to be inexplicable. But listen to this. More often than not, antidepressants are involved. In Colorado, for instance, police found antidepressants in suspects Dwayne Morrison's Jeep. We still don't know if the Amish school gunman Roberts was taking anything, but we do know the FDA recently warned doctors that antidepressants can cause both suicidal and homicidal thoughts. In 2002, big story correspondent Douglas Kennedy was the first national reporter to expose the link between antidepressants and violence, a report that sparked congressional hearings. He is here with us now. So what do we know about this, Douglas?
John, 4 years ago, we showed that 7 out of the 12 previous school shooters were either on antidepressants or were withdrawing from antidepressants. Shooters like Kip Kinkle, Elizabeth Bush, and Eric Harris at Columbine. Since then, the trend has continued with 16-year-old Jeff Weiss, who in 2005 snapped while on Prozac, killing 9 people and wounding 5 at his high school in Red Lake, Minnesota. Just moments ago, I spoke with Sheila Matthews of ablechild.org, a group that's trying to get Congress to protect school children from this kind of violence. What do you want Congress to do here?
I want an investigation into the correlation between the psychiatric drugs and the school shooters. I want toxicity screening done on the school shooters to see if they were on any antidepressants, because clearly there's a link.
Now, you had a relative who had a bad time on antidepressants. Describe that to me.
My brother-in-law committed suicide while withdrawing from antidepressant norepinephrine. It's an older antidepressant, totally out of character, a loving man. We miss him dearly, and we want to prevent this from happening.
And you run into lots of stories like that.
That's
Describe some of those.
As a founder of Able Child, victims come to us all the time. Their children are committing suicide on these drugs, and we're very concerned. It's a public health issue.
Now, lots of new studies show antidepressants not only don't prevent suicide, they actually cause suicide and violence. Why are so many people still taking them?
Because the evidence is not being broadcast, and I think it's time with all these school shootings that we take a look and we get evidence-based from toxicity screening on the school shooters, on victims of suicide, and start bringing the evidence forward to the American people, because once they know, they'll see the correlation.
Now, Matthew says the real problem with antidepressants is how many people are taking them right now. That's about 30 million Americans. Studies show about 5% of them will develop mania. So if you do the math, that's about 1.5 million potential maniacs waiting to explode.
Yo.